Good morning, and welcome to Zoellner Arts Center. We are thrilled to partner with the Bethlehem Area School District on today's event. Teachers are truly cultivating our youth. I'm sure that all of you today can remember a teacher that changed your educational years, someone that inspired you, led you, taught you something you never thought you'd use later in your adult years, someone that may have meant the world to you. Teachers are more than teachers. They are people we have looked up to, people we couldn't wait to learn from, and people we will never forget. As we begin, I'd like to point out the QR code on the screen. The Bethlehem Chamber is taking steps to align ourselves with our city's sustainability efforts, and we have offered this QR code that will take you to today's digital program. Please scan this code if you haven't already. We'll give you a second. Scan the code to learn more about our speakers today and for information from our incredible sponsors. Now I'd like to recognize our elected officials and their representatives. First, someone who spent many years as a teacher, the Mayor of the City of Bethlehem, Mayor J. William Reynolds. From the office of Congresswoman Susan Wild, Megan Best. From the office of State Senator Lisa Boscola, Joe Kelly. And finally, I'd like to recognize a member from our Chamber's Executive Committee, Lori Hackett. Next, we would like to thank our sponsors who made today possible. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Zoellner Arts Center. Thank you to Mark, Candy, Jen, Becky, Josh, and your entire team today for all you have done for us to deliver this powerful message from our school district. Next, thank you to our corporate sponsor, Capital Blue Cross, our gold sponsor, Alloy 5, our silver sponsors, Dewey Engineering, Lehigh Valley with Love, and St. Luke's University Health Network. Our bronze sponsors, BSI Corporate Benefits, East Stroudsburg University, Just Born Quality Confections, Northampton Community College, and Service Electric Business. Finally, to our community partners, thank you. To the City of Bethlehem, Mayor Reynolds, your administration, and staff, thank you for all of your ongoing support to the Chamber. Now, please join me in welcoming the Director of Community Engagement and Impact here at Zoellner Arts Center and Chair of the Bethlehem Chamber, Ms. Candy Storinos.
Good morning. Dr. Roy is currently the Superintendent of the Bethlehem Area School District, the 6th largest school district in Pennsylvania, serving 13,700 students in 22 schools. Dr. Roy was named 2017 Superintendent of the Year for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Dr. Roy currently serves on the board of the United Way of the Greater Lehigh Valley, the Foundation for the Bethlehem Area School District, and Community Action Lehigh Valley. Dr. Roy served on the boards of several Lehigh Valley nonprofits, including the Da Vinci Science Center, the Hispanic Center of the Lehigh Valley, and the Lehigh Valley Workforce Development Board. Dr. Roy is the recipient of the 2018 Good Neighbors Award from PBS 39. He is also the recipient of the 2017 Priscilla Payne Hurd Award from the Bethlehem Area Chamber of Commerce. The 2013 Excellence in Education Award. He is on the Lehigh University Council for Educational Leadership, the 2011 United Way of the Greater Lehigh Valley's Community Builder Award, the 2005 National School Public Relations Association's Outstanding Communicator Award, and the School Library Journal's 2004 National Administrator of the Year Award. Dr. Roy received his undergraduate degree from Franklin Marshall College, his master's degree from Bucknell University, and his doctoral degree from Lehigh University. Go Mountain Hawks. Please join me in welcoming the Superintendent of the Bethlehem Area School District, Dr. Joseph Roy.
Teach the children well. their father's help did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked.
Good morning, everyone. That was a very long introduction. It's actually, if you timed it, it's going to be longer than my remarks. But I appreciate the recognition. Thank you. I want to also thank all of our partners that are here. It's great to see so many partners. We can't find success without the community effort. So it's just warming my heart to see so many of our partners here this morning. I want to thank Tammy and Brittany for partnering with us from the Chamber, and thanks to Barb Clymer, BASD's communications coordinator, who, well, she did all the coordinating with Tammy and Brittany to bring this together today. You know, as a public school district, our doors are open to every child that lives in our district, regardless of background, religion, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual preference, race, immigration status, socioeconomic background. It doesn't matter. If you live here, you're welcome at the public school. We say that we're committed to respecting the inherent value, humanity, and dignity of each person. I'm going to say that again. We are committed to respecting the inherent value, we're committed to respecting the inherent value, humanity, and dignity of each person. We're committed to making each person feel a sense of belonging, each person. In building Bethlehem, we're committed to cultivating and helping to grow the children that come to us. We have 1,000 teachers in the Bethlehem Area School District, and they take these commitments seriously. They devote themselves to these commitments. This morning, we want to honor all BASD teachers for the work they do as the glue that often holds students and families and communities together. And I think that's been more true since COVID than ever before. Today, we want to hear personally and hear from 3 teachers and 2 students about the role teachers play in schools. Think about it. And this is kind of our theme this morning. Students come to us as 5-year-olds in kindergarten who can't quite tie their shoes. And then they leave us 13 years later, going to college, becoming welders, plumbers, and as employees in all of our local businesses, many of them represented here. And it's BASD teachers who receive those 5-year-olds, guide them through the middle school years, and then raise them up to graduation. Teachers are the through line. Kind of picture them handing the kids off through the years as they are finished doing their work with them in the year. They pass them on to the next group of teachers. They're the through line for every student over the years. And all of them have the commitment of making every child feel a sense of belonging. So this morning, I'm excited to have 2 seniors, Talia Colon and Josiah Peters, who will share their stories and the impact that teachers have had on them during their school journey. And we'll be able to see that theme or hear that theme of teachers handing kids off and taking care of them. Then we'll invite 3 teachers to join in a discussion about being teachers, which we think you will find enlightening and probably also, if they tell a few stories, humorous as well. And finally, we'll close with a musical performance with Talia and Josiah will rejoin the stage, and along with many talented choral students from both Liberty and Freedom High School. You see, the high schools do come together for important events to perform. So I'm incredibly proud to have our students from Liberty and Freedom to perform for you at the end. We're going to accomplish this all in about 40 minutes or so. So buckle up. Now, I'd like to introduce two students who will share. They can come on up to the stage now, share their stories. From Liberty High School, Talia Colon, and from Freedom High School, Josiah Peters. Please welcome them.
Essentially, she was my jaw, which resulted in a regression in my speech, a disease of the esophagus, and was deathly shy. This took a greater toll than I thought it would. If someone told me I would be speaking in front of all of you, I wouldn't believe it. For all of elementary school, I ate alone in the nurse's office and couldn't go out for recess. I didn't get the chance to laugh and talk in the cafeteria or have fun and make friends outside. In the 4th grade, I told my mom Dunnigan Elementary was doing Aladdin as their first school musical. I've always loved the movie, and my director told me to just go for it. I ended up getting the lead role. That was the first step into becoming the person I am today. I went from that shy little boy that missed out on recess and lunches with everyone to becoming not only the lead role in several musical productions in schools, but a captain of Freedom Student Section, choir vice president, and even homecoming king. I could not have done this, nor would I be here without the support of the teachers, the overwhelming amount of support from my teachers and the district providing me, and the courage to truly find my voice and sense of self. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the district, all of you who support our district, but most of all, thank you to the teachers who not only inspired me to be the brave, confident, outgoing man I have become, but all the children who just need the little support and guidance in the right direction that I was given.
In 6th grade, I took my first steps into Brockwell Middle School, and with it, my first steps into the Bethlehem Area School District. I was immediately drawn into the music program, joining a number of instrumental and vocal groups. Ms. Putlock and Mr. Stoltz placed the stepping stones for the person that I would become today. Through their encouragement and support, I grew not only as a musician, but as a human being. Their influence opened up the girl hiding behind her fears into one that took joy and pride in performing and putting herself out of her comfort zone. The opportunities they pushed me to work for taught me skills that stuck with me even now. I learned the importance of leadership, communication, and collaborative skills, and techniques that built a foundation for my career as a musician. With their help to establish this foundation, I stepped into Liberty High School, jumping at every opportunity I could find to involve myself. Mrs. Wydrunski and Ms. Monero have undoubtedly had a positive impact on my high school experience. They pushed me to work hard and always look for the ways in which I can improve myself as a person and as an artist. Their incredible leadership inspires me in my own leadership roles and encourage me to emulate the grace that they carry with their jobs. Furthermore, they have made my extracurriculars a safe space where I feel welcomed, encouraged, motivated, and loved. The most authentic version of myself can be found in these rehearsals because I have no reason to hide. Their acceptance and respect for me is something I will always be grateful for, and I thank all my teachers for their positive impact in shaping who I am today.
So Talia and Josiah will join us again in a few moments with our musical grand finale, so they'll be back. But now, let's go on a field trip to a few of our classrooms in the district to see how we are building Bethlehem through the work with our students. Good morning.
Come on in. Everybody say good morning, Dr. Roy.
How are you, Miss Maldonado?
Good morning. How are you?
Nice to see
Welcome.
you. Thank you, boys and girls. I was just visiting one of my favorite teachers here. Did you know that Miss Maldonado taught both of my daughters? Charlotte, who you might know, is in 5th, and my daughter who's in 7th grade. And I just wanted to come in and say hi. What are we working on today?
We're working on an open and vowel sound. You're right, we are
Wow,
working on that.
that's
Good job.
fantastic.
Good job.
And is the whole class doing it?
Yes, the
Can we
whole
do? Can I
class
see it in action?
Are we ready?
All right, don't be
Let's
shy,
start with
boys
the
and
first
girls.
word. We're ready, right? Let's read. Go for it. Sleep, yeah. Teach, yeah. Tree, cheese, see, wheel. Unhook, pre-teach. Then our bottom is review. Let's read them. What are they? Go for it. Paint,
Shopping, notebook.
So the question that I had up there that I asked that I don't think we answered yet, which is, what are you writing your Unit 3 essay about? What is it actually about? I know the prompt really well, but I want to hear it from you. Hi, wonderful. How are you doing, Dr. Roy?
I'm good. What class? What did I walk into here?
So this is my 8th grade, 8th period ELA class here at Brockle. They are a wonderfully spirited bunch. They're wonderful in discussion and great thinkers, critical thinkers. And today we are working on planning for our Unit 3 essay.
Okay, great. And an essay on.
Identifying risks
Okay.
and the motivation or the impetus for why risks are taken.
Very.
So very
Good topic for middle school.
That's exactly what I was gonna
Not
say,
by,
yeah.
Not by accident that
Yeah,
you're doing
exactly.
that topic. Unit 3 essay, risks. Do you have an example or an idea about risks?
We wrote it down. So basically, Copernicus. Wait, actually, I don't even know how to. Yeah, Copernicus. Yeah, him. He published a book that went against like beliefs and like he's basically like the founder and creator of the scientific revolution.
Yes.
Because like a lot of churches and places, they used to like they believed that like Earth was like the center of the universe, but then he changed it and like published a book saying that Earth revolved around the sun.
So that's really cool because you think about, like, talk about risks. Like everybody believed that the Earth was the center of the universe, and Copernicus writes a book that says you're wrong.
Yep.
You got it all
He
wrong.
could have got a lot of hate off of that.
He got a lot of hate off of that, and yet he's the one we're talking about today.
Yep.
Hundreds of years
Changed
later.
history.
Changed history. Mr. Little, thanks so much for having me in today. This is awesome.
I'm glad you're here.
This is a pretty high-level lab, I take it, that they're doing?
Yes, this is a very advanced AP chemistry lab.
AP chemistry?
The
Okay.
kids are working on an organic chemistry lab.
Isn't organic chemistry the course that colleges use to weed out doctoral, MD people, pre-med people?
It's a very, very difficult class in college.
Very cool. We're doing it here. Well, I'm going to ask Grace what's going on.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Hi, guys. What's going on?
Right now we were just testing the condenser to make sure we didn't have any leaks in the water so that we don't have water all over our lab.
So what's the condenser? You said you're testing the condenser?
Yes, this is the condenser. What we're going to do is we have the ethyl in here and we're going to boil this water and that's going to cause it to evaporate and we're going to run cold water through here. And you can look down here and there's an inner tube in which...
Oh, there's a tube within the tube.
Yes,
Okay.
in which the vapors will come up through this tube, the cold water will cool them down, and they'll fall back down into the...
Okay, very
Yes.
interesting.
And then we'll be able to...
You're going to have faith because you're not going to see it. How will you know it happened?
We're just going to have to trust that it's happening.
You'll see it a little bit, actually.
Okay,
You'll see
all right.
some really neat
Okay,
kind
I
of
didn't know.
steam, and then it'll actually recondense. It looks pretty neat if you get it going right.
Cool. Here you're doing something about magic with gas or something?
So basically what we're doing is we're taking a mixture of a very concentrated acetic acid solution, and then we're also taking ethyl alcohol. And we're doing something called reflux, so it's basically in this water solution, so this water is going to boil. And then we are going to have, it's going to vaporize, and then this is called a condenser. It's going to condense it back into the solution as ethyl acetate, which is basically an ester. And then tomorrow, as part 2, we're going to purify it and get just the pure ethyl acetate.
I got some great explanations, trying to keep, not really keeping up, but trying to keep up with understanding. So this is high-level AP Chem lab.
Yes.
Like, how high level is it?
This is our culminating AP Chem lab, and I would say this is more like a second-year college chemistry lab that we're actually doing here.
Amazing. And the kids, they know what they're doing, and they're looking forward to getting their results.
Yeah, they're very excited, and they're hopefully we'll get good results.
Yeah.
It can be very challenging
Well,
sometimes.
but that's part of the learning experience
That's part
too,
of it.
right?
Yep. Sometimes you fail. That's
right.
just the way it happens.
Yep.
And you
So-
learn from your mistakes.
All right.
Please welcome from Lincoln Elementary School, first grade teacher, Miss Candy Maldonado. From Brockville Middle School, 8th grade teacher, Miss Becky Kepner. And from Liberty High School, chemistry teacher, Mr. Richard Dusty Little.
Well, all right. Good morning, teachers. We have, as you see, elementary, middle, and high school teachers. We really wanted Dusty to be able to blow something up on stage to get it started, but he just felt it wasn't safe enough for some reason. He tried. Why? He tried.
You're looking for a teacher.
Right. I'm really happy to have an opportunity to talk. We're saying we're talking Oprah style, so it's just a talk show thing. End of the show, look under your seat. Everyone has a ticket to next year's football game, I guess. I'm just kidding. So the audience, you got to look at what a first grade classroom looks like, a middle level classroom, and then a high level science classroom. And we wanted to talk through a little bit, what are the similarities that teachers see in their work, and then what are the differences between teaching those students at those levels, all keeping in mind that idea that the teachers are the through line, like the teachers hand them off over the years. So Candy has them as they walk in as first graders. And I know from visiting first grade classes, I know when we ask, do any first graders, have questions for the superintendent? You never actually get a question. It's like, I have a dog, I have a cat, I have I'm not sure how you manage that all day long, but so what I'm wondering, kind of starting at the beginning of the year, the first question will happen for all three of you is, what's on your mind at the beginning of the school year as those kids walk into your classroom for the first time? How do you receive them, and what's on your mind that you want to accomplish over those first few weeks of school, let's say? Candy?
The first thing I definitely want to accomplish is to build trust with the children, the families, a connection. Without that, they won't learn. The parents won't trust me. I'm lucky I work at Lincoln. As you know, in the first couple of weeks, we spend receiving the children outside, where we can greet the parents every morning the first couple of weeks, touch base with them, see if they have concerns. It's first grade. I was a first grade parent. I know what it was like. I was overwhelmed and helicopter mom. So just connecting with the parents and the children seeing us have a bond with their parents and talking, and the parents literally handing their children to me, giving me their hand, I'm placing them in line. They're telling me if there's anything going on, and just being able to communicate and build trust with the families is so important in first grade. So important.
Yeah, thank you. And I've seen that happen, and it is literally handing their child to you. And so there is many people are parents. There's that level of trust. You're handing your child over to that teacher for those school days. So thank you for that. How about at the middle level? So they're a little older. They have a few years of school under their belt.
Yeah, I think the parents are like pushing middle school. Yeah, with middle school in those first few weeks, and especially at the 8th grade level, you can't be too, frankly, enthusiastic on that first day, or you are going to scare them off. So it is about building trust and about building relationships, but you have to kind of circumvent it a little. So showing the kids that I'm consistent with the things that I say, making sure that I take the time to get their names correct, and say them often and spell them correctly. I think that goes a long way. I did make the mistake at the beginning of this school year when I had a student in my homeroom who looked incredibly familiar, and I broke my normal kind of first day of school cool, and I said, "You look so familiar. Do I look familiar to you?" And she shrunk down in her seat. The whole room went quiet, and I could not stop thinking about her. I did figure it out the next day that she had been on a softball team that I had coached 4 years prior. We laugh about it now in March, but she was pretty horrified that first day. So lesson learned, you know, ease into it.
Very, very touching. And again, with middle school, too much, they're going to be like, okay, no, they're too cool for that. So you have to balance it the right way. And then we get to high school. You're teaching upper level chemistry, honors, AP chemistry. What are you thinking about when you're coming in?
Well, some of my kids run away, so they're running away from me, because you saw from the video, you know, AP chemistry is a college level class. So in the beginning, you have to go through the rigors and the expectations. So that can be a little scary, but ultimately for me, the most important part in the beginning is building those relationships. So I'm very lucky because I've actually taught some of those kids before in honors chemistry, so I just pick up where we left off and keep going. But then other kids are new and I have to lay the groundwork and, you know, build that relationship from scratch. But ultimately in a class like that where they're putting in a lot of time and it takes truly a commitment, the only way I get that work from them is through those relationships and that trust at the beginning. It's probably the most important part for me.
Yeah, so that common thread of relationship, kids don't learn if they don't have a positive relationship and a connection in school. And though it might be a little different, taking them by the hand, bringing them in the building, sometimes I've seen kindergarten teachers picking up the kindergartners and bringing them into the building those first couple of days.
That might still be happening at first.
That's still happening at first. But it's about trust and relationships. At the beginning of the year, getting it right, so the rest of the year can go smoothly and the kids can learn. So let's jump to the end of the year. At the end of the year, after you've gone through, you've had the relationships, you go through the curriculum, go through the year, you know, what do you hope when students leave your classroom, they take with them? What do you want the end of the year to look like for them?
So I want two things at the end of the year. Of course, academically, I want them to meet goals. I set extremely high expectations. I'm very well known for that. And I push and push and push to get them as close to the high expectation that I have for all my students. I accept growth, of course, but I want my children to be where they need to be. And so I hope for that every year. But as well as academic growth, I have a social and emotional growth. As you know, they come in as these scared little 5 and 6 year olds, and I want them to leave as confident 6 and 7 year olds going to second grade and realizing that school isn't that bad and that they can accomplish the goals that teachers set out for them to make. And so if they leave with those two things, I'm happy.
And in first grade, teaching reading. And I always say this, you know, reading is probably the biggest social justice issue, getting it right, because there's lots of data that if a student is below where they should be in reading by the end of third grade, they are likely to have much more negative outcomes in middle school and high school. Very clear data on that. So the early push to get kids who may come in not ready for reading, and get them up and moving and closing gaps early on is the huge challenge of our kindergarten and first grade teachers. So to see that, it's a lot of pressure on first grade teachers because we collect a lot of data, and so that we can track how students are going. But it's literally like, it's got to be the most important thing we do, right? You have to learn how to read in order to do all the other learning as you get older. So thank you for that. I know that's your focus, and thank you for that hard work. I could never be a first grade teacher. So same thought. End of
Yeah,
year.
and I was going to say, we're starting to see the positive impact of that Reading by Grade 3 initiative at the middle school level, which is just wonderful. So thank you. Thank you to all the elementary school teachers for putting all that hard work in. So 8th grade before high school, you know, the last time we get to have them as our youngins, I'm looking to make sure that my students at the end of the year leave 8th grade knowing they have a voice and knowing how to use it. So writing composition, how to put together an argument, how to use their persuasive skills for good in this world and in their communities, that's a massive part of my class. And then socially, don't accept defeat. I think 8th grade middle school in general is full of defeating moments. I'm sure you can all think of one right now in the audience. And I just want them to know that it gets better, that they are going to grow just because they don't know something yet, or they're not good at something yet, or even if they haven't tried something yet, that they have high school. All of these activities, the BASD, we offer so many sports and clubs and extracurriculars that they might find real joy in. And so I want them to walk away knowing that the world is still very much open for them, and they have a lot to accomplish out there to make us proud. So
I think middle school years are a time, because kids are finding themselves, are not sure of themselves, that they are much faster to conclude, oh, I can't do that.
Oh yeah.
One bad grade or one bad practice.
Right on the cusp too of still being a young child and being an adult. And it is a really weird, awkward time of someone's life. And it's hard academically too. You know, they're tired. They're tired all the time. Everyone needs to sleep more. So we put a lot of emphasis on trying to help them develop a few kind of personal skills too, to help them be more successful in high school.
Thank you. And then at the high school level, we saw the AP chemistry class. That's a very high-level, academically focused class. So what are you looking at when they walk out at the end of the year?
Well, my kids take the AP exam in May, but we don't actually find out the results until early July. So I have a few stressful weeks to start the summer of worrying, but the scores are important, but obviously that's not the most important thing. For me, at the end of the year, knowing that my kids are ready for a college-level workload, they have better study skills, better time management, and just knowing in general that even if something looks difficult, they can attack it and they have the tools needed to succeed. So for me, knowing that my kids are ready for that next step, whatever it is, that's where I would be at the end of the year.
Excellent. And then you do check those scores when they come in July.
A few sleepless nights there.
Just announce for the audience, his scores are really quite good. So beginning of the year, end of year. Now let's just take a normal day. When you're heading home at the end of a school day, driving home, and you're thinking, that was a good day. That was a really good day. I call them micro victories. You know, it didn't change the world. There was something that happened in class. You could say, that was good. What are some examples of that?
Sally didn't cry today. Some days those are my micro victories. But at this time of the year, it's seeing the aha moments. So, like, again, reading is so important in first grade in teaching. And we spend a lot of time learning the 6-syllable types and knowing Sally today when I said, what's a closed syllable? And she's able to tell me or identify the syllable types in a word, or just that aha moment where I give a child a hard word and they're able to apply the skills we've been working on since September, and they figure it out and they look at me and their eyes go and they read the word, and it's just so like, yes, they're getting it. It's working. I'm doing my job. I'm succeeding. They're going to read my 3rd grade.
That is a perfect micro victory example.
When we were discussing this question, we made the point that there's nothing micro about any experience in middle school. Nothing, everything's spectacularly great or spectacularly awful. So there's quite a bit of drama in that department. But I have micro joys, macro joys all the time. One of my favorite things is seeing a student actually experiencing some joy in my classroom. So just recently we're writing essays, and a student wrote his intro paragraph without calling me over, but called me over at the end to show me that he had done it successfully. And it was such a wonderful moment because I remember what it looked like in October and November and December, and putting his head down, and the defeat was everywhere in the beginning of the year with writing. So anytime I can see the kids have that moment of recognition, like, oh, I did this, and it's really good. It's a really great feeling. And there's lots of them, which is why it's a very good profession. Despite what some people try to say out there, it's the best profession in the world.
And we are hiring.
So you saw some of the, intense labs we do and stuff. So when I'm driving home at the end of the day, if no kid has eaten chemicals that day, they didn't spill acid on me, and they didn't blow me up, that was a win.
Really concrete thing. That's excellent. A final question. It would be great to hear about a really special memory, a favorite memory over your years. Just kind of thinking about these are the micro memories, which are very important, but what's the favorite memory that you have from your teaching experiences?
Okay, so as a first grade teacher, I have this fear that I won't be remembered. Like, they'll go to high school and they forget about who they had in elementary school, especially kindergarten and first, because they have so much more experience with other teachers who are leaving an impact, and they're older and remembering those teachers, and it's kind of layering on top, and I'm kind of at the bottom of that. So I always wonder, do they remember me? Like, did I make an impact? And so recently, actually last year, I received an email from a student who was entering 9th grade, and the email started off with, "I was your student, I don't know if you remember me." And I was like, of course I remember you, I didn't know if you remembered me. And so we communicated back and forth, and she just talked about how I made such an impact in her life. She talked about how I had such high expectations and that she didn't appreciate it in first grade. And sometimes I would frustrate her because I would push and push and push, but now going into high school, she was so appreciative that I pushed and pushed because I made her believe she could do it, and that's carried on with her. So I am remembered.
You are remembered. And it's a fantastic example. Thank you.
I thought a lot about these. I actually got a text message from a former student last night around 6 p.m. that said one line, "You're going to be 46 this year." That's all I need to say about it. It's absolutely wonderful. He was always really good with facts and numbers. When the kids ask me how old I am, because they always do, in 8th grade, I would make it into a math problem because you can't make it too easy. So I'll say, well, I graduated high school in 1995, and then they have to figure it out. And he rattled all these things off that happened in 1995. One of them being that Post Malone was born in 1995. That makes anyone feel as old as that made me in that moment. But it's what a wonderful feeling. Something a little bit more serious. When I had my students sitting in groups several years ago, I had a student came up to me after class the first time they sat in his groups, and he said, "I don't want to sit at that table anymore." And I said, "What's going on?" He's like, "I really don't like that kid. I don't like what he's about." And it was a student that was a little bit more untraditional in the way that he dressed and presented himself. And so I said to this student in the hallway, I said, "Give me 1 week. And I promise you, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I promise you I'll check in. But just give it 1 week. Let's see how it goes." Because I really thought about these table groups. Like, this is not random. And, sure enough, and this is the great thing about teenagers, these two were like two peas in a pod, you know, a month later. Their ideas, the way they interacted with each other was so fantastic because they were so different. And it was one of those moments, you know, when you're saying it with all this confidence, but in my head I'm like, do I need to move them? Is this gonna get bad? But it worked out, and that's the faith that I have in young people. They know how to do the right thing. So that is definitely one that stays with me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many to choose from, but if I had to pick, I would say that, you know, a few years ago, a couple of my graduating seniors actually treated me to a Phillies game. So a couple days after graduation, we drove down together, we spent the afternoon and the evening together, and it was just truly a memorable day. And what's really nice is I still keep in contact with those kids. They're going to be graduating college in a few months. So it was just something that really stuck with me, and it was, I couldn't believe that they did that. It was super nice.
Fantastic.
First graders aren't going to do that.
They might ask you to go, but you're not going. So there is a difference. There is a difference. So let's thank our teachers for their Now we'd like to conclude with a short video as we come off the stage and some entertainment from our Freedom and Liberty choral students who are here, led by Jennifer Valpato from Freedom High School and Julie Wodrinski from Liberty High School. So they'll be coming down.
Hi, my name is Selena, and I'm from Lincoln Elementary School, and I had Mrs. Maldonado as a first grade teacher. She is the best teacher I ever had, and she taught me how to tell time. She also taught me how to do my addition, and she also taught me how to read. And I thank her a lot because my sister is like best friends with her daughter, and it's like for my sister that's like for Mrs. Maldonado's daughter is like for my sister she's like kind of like a sister to her, and you know, like she's been there like my whole entire life, and I love her.
Hello, my name is Tiana Del Peso, and I'm currently a senior at Freedom High School. I attended Brocco Middle School in 7th and 8th grade. When I think of all the teachers I had during my middle school days, one person always stands out in those memories, Miss Kepner. Miss Kepner always kept her classes entertained and excited to learn, regardless the topic. Miss Kepner's bubbly personality and passion for teaching always made her stand out. I would like to congratulate and thank Miss Kepner for her hard work and for being her authentic, genuine self. I would not be the writer I am today without her support and guidance. Thank you for all you do and have done.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Young. I'm currently a 4th year mechanical engineering student at Georgia Tech. I graduated from Liberty in 2019 and was a student in Mr. Little's 2017 honors chemistry class. Mr. Little and so many Bethlehem Area School District staff have had a tremendous impact on my life, education, and professional growth. I would not be where I am today without their guidance and support. I've stayed in touch with Mr. Little ever since I was in his class, and he has been a constant source of friendship, advice, and inspiration over the past several years. I want to say thank you to teachers who continue to make a difference in students' lives every day, and especially Mr. Little.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide, ain't no baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry, you don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe. Another day I set you free, I told you you could always count
Bethlehem Area School District, their teachers, faculty, students, and the Bethlehem Chamber of Commerce, we thank you all for joining us today. This concludes our presentation, and Dr. Roy will be available for Q&A outside in the lobby. Thank you all so much for coming today.